Hello everyone, my name is Luke Elijah. Thank you very much for watching this video. We are at the Ritz-Carlton in Singapore, and my very distinguished guest is none other than two-time nominated, Grammy-nominated pianist, singer-songwriter, and radio host, Jim Brickman. Thank you, Jim, for coming onto my show.
Good to see you.
Yes, Jim has worked with a lot of celebrities and musicians through his illustrious career. He's worked with the likes of Kenny Rogers, Michael W. Smith, Michael Bolton, Martina McBride, as well as the late Olivia Newton-John, right? And when I was a teenager, I bought your album, Picture This.
You're not a teenager anymore?
Unfortunately not. So, this year, 2022, is actually the 25th anniversary of Valentine. And Valentine is like the quintessential Valentine's Day song, right? It's played on weddings and anniversaries. And it's a beautiful song, beautiful, and such a classic. Could you tell the audience a little bit about the inspiration of how that song came about?
Well, it was at the beginning of my career, and probably about 2 years in, and I started out as a pianist, pretty much just piano solo. That's what I'm known for still. But I had always been a songwriter, and I loved writing songs, especially beautiful love songs, anything with a beautiful melody and an inspirational romantic quality. And so I had started to think when I was recording for this album called Picture This that there wasn't a song for this most
special day
about love.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so odd. I mean, think about something like Christmas, how many millions of Christmas songs there are. And, to me, I just felt like if you're going to celebrate love, how better to do it than with the backdrop of music. And so I thought, I'm going to write a song called Valentine. So sometimes the idea of the song comes before the song itself.
Oh, it does. It's kind of reminiscent of like how people associate I want for Christmas with Christmas, and then the Valentine with Valentine's Day. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah, and there weren't any real songs that I could think of.
Neither can I.
One song, My Funny Valentine, which is
this Chet Baker, right? Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah,
very
that's sad. That's very melancholic. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad you had the inspiration. And
me too.
Even after 25 years, it's still so refreshing.
It doesn't feel like that long. When you're playing it all the time and people know it, time doesn't pass that way.
Yeah.
It just feels like it becomes part of something, and I felt so fortunate that it became a worldwide hit.
Yeah, it's a smash hit for sure. I still remember the lyrics. I could sing it to you right now even. So tell us, Jim, okay, you're kind of like Mr. Romance, right? Because, I'm going to ask you really profound questions. These are technically simple, but it's actually really profound. What is love in your own words?
Well, I mean, love is that feeling inside that is indescribable because it's so deep within us. The way we feel about somebody in our family, the way we feel about a romantic kind of love. I think sometimes when people say love, it instantly conjures up romantic love. And I always think in my career, my songs are about not just romantic love, but love between a parent and a child, love between friends, love between partners. And it's, so I've always written about universal love, that feeling inside that connects us as human beings that is so hard to describe because it's all emotion. And so many of us have a hard time expressing ourselves. That's what's so great about music. Music expresses some of the feelings that we have that we don't know how to articulate. Yeah,
I agree with you. The concept of love is very ineffable.
Yes.
And the music allows us, in a way, it's a love language, a way to express one of the many facets of what the universal concept of something so large and encompassing as love is, right? Could you tell us a little bit about, your long-standing friendship and your working relationship with the late Olivia Newton-John, who unfortunately recently passed away?
It was a big loss for the world.
Absolutely, yes.
She was such a shining light and such a kind and generous, loving person, and so beautiful, and just one of the kindest people I've ever met. Take away the fact that she was Olivia Newton-John, you know, just as a human being. But I met her when I was asked to be her opening act on her worldwide tour. And it was very early in my career, so I was so grateful to be asked to do that. I thought, what a perfect first tour to be asked to do. It was so unbelievable to me, because I had just had my second album, and so I went on tour with her, and just so, like I said, kind, warm, loving, and she was so supportive of my career. And then, you know, you get very close when you're on tour with somebody. You just see them every day, and close quarters and everything like that. And then we wrote a couple songs together. One kind of sad song called Change of Heart, which I thought was kind of funny that a sad song would be something I would write with her, you know? Yes. You would think that it would be something really bright and hopeful, but that's what we decided to write. And then a number of charity performances together after that, and an enduring friendship. And I didn't see her, you know, often, like I talked to her, you know, every week or something, but we stayed in touch for many years. She did a couple TV specials of mine. We played for the president together, a number of things like that would come along where we would see each other and find each other. But such an incredible person. I can't even explain how kind. It's just exactly what you see if you didn't know her. What you see is her.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the beauty is that all the collaborations you've done with her is now immortalized in all the audio clips and video clips. So you have all those memories.
Yes.
It's all kept. Yeah. So, you know, I wanted to ask as well, you know, speaking of albums, you have, I think, like 25 by now?
Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe more.
I didn't start.
Yes, I have 3 of your albums. Picture This, The Gift, and the Disney Playbook, which is my songbook. This is songbook, which is my favorite.
Thank you.
And, you know, I think the biggest hits were, other than Valentine, is probably going to be Your Love and The Gift. But personally, which is your favorite album or favorite song in your long career?
I mean, the picture, all those early albums, I think you'll find that most artists, their first work is usually the work they love the most, because it's very authentic to the beginning of a career. It's like a lifelong writing that comes out in these first few albums, whereas after 20 years of it, you know, it's a different point of view, different craft. It's not quite as it's authentic, obviously, from inside. It comes from a very authentic place, but it's not as I guess it doesn't have that lifelong context of how long you've been writing those songs all end up on those first 3 albums. And it was also of a time, you know, it was the 90s, it was a time of a big ballad. You had like the Celine Dion and the Michael Bolton and these big ballads, and I loved writing those. So things like Destiny or Love of My Life or Your Love, these are all very big ballad songs. And so I would say The Gift is actually my favorite of those songs, is the song The Gift.
Right. You know, I think you're right in the sense that your first few albums define you, the real you.
Yes.
And then over time, your craft evolved and you added more to your repertoire. And speaking of evolution, could you tell us more about your Sue series, which is kind of focused on, you know, the yoga, meditation movement?
Yeah, I mean, so many of us need that these days.
Absolutely, especially the post-pandemic.
Yeah. It's everybody's so stressed out and so much anxiety. I mean, it really is like palpable. You can feel it in society, I feel like. And so music is a great escape, a great way to calm and relax. And that's always what my music has been. You know, you talk about the ballads and everything and the hit songs. That's not what I set out to do. I set out originally just to play the piano. I had always written songs, and I write all of my original solo piano songs too, but I didn't think I know I'll write big hit songs with featured vocalists that'll be hits on the radio. Like that wasn't in the plan. So in a way, the Soothe series goes back to my roots of the calm, beautiful solo piano music that hopefully helps people relax.
Right, check it out.
Yeah.
Right, you have 5 albums in the Soothe series, right?
There's so many. There's like 10 of them.
10 albums. All right. I think what some people might not know is you actually have your own radio talk show, the Jim Brickman Show, as well as your own YouTube channel, which I'll be placing the link below.
Thank you.
Right. Could you tell the audience, of all the celebrities and fellow musicians that you have interviewed in the past for your show, which will be the most memorable and why?
I'm so fortunate to, of course, I have Olivia on all the time, but a lot of the iconic people that I grew up listening to are the ones that I love to talk to, and that are so fascinating. When a musician talks to another musician, that they say things that, and the conversation is not the same as like, what's your favorite food, or that kind of thing, or who are you dating? Like, I don't ask those questions. I'm much more curious. So Rod Stewart, Elton John, Dolly Parton, Steve Perry, so many people, Five for Fighting, and Donny Osmond, and the list just goes on and on of amazing people. Michael Bolton, Richard Marx. I just had him on the other day. We were talking. Kenny G. Everybody in that category, and most of whom I grew up listening to. So, and modeled a lot of my writing on the things that I would hear them do. So to get to talk to them is really fascinating.
Yeah, it's really lucky in that sense because your inspirations and your heroes, so to speak, become your peers and your friends.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right.
You share that lingo and
Yes.
camaraderie, as we call it that way, the kinship.
Exactly. There's very much of that, and at first I'm always a little bit starstruck, but then when we start to talk, I realize that we have so much more in common than I realize.
Wow, so wonderful. Could you tell the audience, the Singapore audience in particular, what is a memorable experience, or what strikes you about Singapore?
Well, for somebody like me, an American, when you fly halfway around the world,
it's a long way.
A long way.
Yes.
And I have my first concert here. My first reaction was, how does anybody in Singapore know who I am or my music? And you start to wonder, how does it end up around, how does it get from like my piano in my house writing the song to Singapore? And so the kindness of everybody welcoming me, I use your song at weddings, or singing along. There's more people that sing along to my song in Singapore than at
you
home.
realize, right?
And more than at my concerts in the U.S.
Look, incidentally, I have to share with you that you have a TV show. I think it's called An Evening with Jim Brickman. Is
Yes.
that right? That time? That show actually aired on local television back in 2000.
Oh.
Yeah. So even we do know.
I've been here many times, probably at least 10 to 15 times, something like that, over the years. And but the first trip, I'll never forget. Everybody just welcoming and kind and charming and interesting, and it's a mark of a career when the music finds its way around the world, because you realize that you're impacting people emotionally, and that you're making that connection with them, or there's a soundtrack that you're creating for people, and I'm very grateful for that.
Wow, we're grateful for you as well. Thank you for coming to Singapore. We can't wait to have you back. Could you tell the audience, as one final question, what's upcoming for you? What are some of the projects in the pipeline? What's next for Jim Brickman?
Well, we were talking about 25 years, and so I love young, emerging talent. I really enjoy the idea of mentoring somebody who's really talented, who is starting out the way that I did, who maybe doesn't know that much about the business, but they have a lot of talent. Because when I started, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just
did it.
You don't know. You just do it. And I was a little lost at the beginning because there's no map or path. You don't go to school for it. It's very just practical experience. So I am very interested in signing young talent to my label. So when I see I started a new record company, entertainment company, that is going to sign other talent so that I can be more of oversee a lot of it. So I still perform and I will still tour. I'd love to perform and tour and songwrite, of course, but I'm just interested in the next generation of talent.
Right, to pass on the baton.
Yes.
So to those budding potential musicians and pianists and singer-songwriters out there, where can they go to contact you to, show you?
Oh my gosh, are you sure you want me to do that? Here's my phone number. Here's my email address. No, my website, jimbrickman.com. You can just say,
yes,
check this out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be placing all his links below, or including your YouTube channel.
Just make sure it's good. Don't say it's send me something that isn't good.
Thank you so much, Jim, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more similar content.